there, welcome. It's Monday, April 12th, 2021. My name is Les Solgrove. This is Simply Des Moines 15-minute market update. And boy, have we got some stuff to talk about today. Hey, welcome for the show. Let's jump right in because I'm going to try to keep this at 15 minutes this week. Noticing across the bottom here are homes for sale. We are at 1,838 homes for sale. That's 162 more homes than the same time last week. That's our top story. We'll hit that in a second. You notice also our median days on market is down to just 6 days. That's overall across the board. That's single family, new construction, condo, townhome, resale, everything. Our months of inventory with that jump of homes for sale did rise just slightly. We just now have just over 1 month of inventory, which is a good sign. Our homes under contract continue to climb. We're almost at 3,800. We're skyrocketing, and that'll be the topic for next week, which we'll talk about in a second. And you can also see that we're at 3,385 homes closed year to date as of Sunday. So let's take a quick peek at the top story today. So on April 9th, last Friday, something happened that we haven't seen for a long, long time. And what happened was that we had an influx of new homes hitting the market, not just new construction. We had single family resale, condo, townhome. We had all kinds of homes hitting the market here on April 9th. In fact, this graphic is just a screen capture of the multiple listing service showing just the single family homes, single family resale homes in the metro. This is all the homes that actually came on the market last Friday. On that date, we had 91 homes just in the metro alone that were on the market. And these, of that 91, 68 were single family resale, meaning they weren't new construction, they weren't condo townhomes, they were just regular houses that were out there in the process of coming on the market, which we really, really needed. Of that 68, 44 were priced under 300,000, which is kind of a magic price point. We've really been short in that price point. So to see 44 homes, it doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, this is big news. So, and it's really what we've been waiting for, but it comes all with a caveat. And that caveat is that 1 week does not make a return of the sellers. It just means we had one good week. I will get really excited over this if I see this happen 2 more weeks in the month of April. In fact, if we finish out the month with similar inventory, we will be sitting just very, very well as we go into the summer market. And we'll talk next week about sale pendings and how that's going to affect closings and things like that. But let's not get ahead of myself here. So this is the weekly count of homes added to the market. And this one got moved out of the weekly recap and back into the top story this week because as you can see here, last Friday we had 90 some homes on the market just in one day alone. But for the week in general, we had 402 homes added to the listing market. We had a week of some rain, we had a week of some sunshine, so it was kind of a mixed bag. But you can see that we totally blew away where we were at last year at 274 coming on the market. Now, granted, we were in our COVID market last year at this time, but we have been struggling to even hit last year's home inventory levels per week. So to hit a week where we had 402 was a pretty good accomplishment for us. So this is a real good sign. Like I say, if I see this for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be really, really excited as we move into May. So to see how this really kind of looks in a different perspective here, this is the daily listing count of homes for sale from February 5th, last Monday. So a week ago today, we had 1,658 homes for sale, and that happened to be our all-time low record number of homes for sale. We just happened to hit that on Monday, 1,658. And you can see what has happened through the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we started to add more listings. And there's that Friday date where we pushed our home inventory levels above 1,800 homes for sale. And we're currently sitting, as of Sunday night, still at 1,838 homes for sale. Now, I'm going to tell you that number is probably going to go down over the weekend from homes that went under contract that will be turned in on Monday and Tuesday. But gosh, this is a welcome supply. And just to give another perspective, here's this same week by week homes for sale inventory. And you can see all the way over here to the left, we started out the year at a little over 2,200 homes for sale, and have steadily dropped, little ups and downs throughout the pathway there. But there's our record low that we hit last Monday. And on Friday, here's where we were with Sunday night with 1,859 as of last Friday. Yeah, so as of last Friday, we were at 1,859. Now, Saturday and Sunday, we started to have some sales turned in, which took us down below that. But you can see the last time we were anywhere close to this 1,800 number was back on week 8, which happened to be February 22nd. So what a terrific comeback we've seen here this week. So that's really going to help our market out. One other way to look at this as well is to split that year-to-date homes for sale count into the subcategories of single-family resale in blue, condo townhome resale, which is the orange, single-family new construction, which is the dark gray, and then condo townhome new construction, which is kind of the yellow-orange there, yellow color. Now, one thing I'm going to point out here is you're looking right here, you'll say, well, guys, it looks like we've had a period already this year where we had some listings come on and go off really quick, and the inventory kind of jumped around. What this is, if you recall, back in January, end of January, I discovered that our multiple listing service had actually, we had a lot of listings that were miscategorized as new construction, both in the condo townhome and the single family areas. And we actually moved over 100 listings off of the single family resale. So that's why that went down and single family new construction went up. And same thing on the condo townhome area. So this really kind of brought our numbers back where they should have been. And, it was something that had been happening for some time, that we were seeing a lot of new construction that was being added in the resale category. And now we kind of watch that every day and make sure that doesn't happen. So from this point forward, you can kind of see this is really more of our true market there. And as we get to the end of week 14, this is the 3 different categories. We actually had, all 4 had an increase. Condo townhome resale had a slight increase, but by far the single family resale here was the one that had the largest jump next to the condo townhome resale. Or condo townhome new construction. So that kind of just gives you an idea of overall which segment of our market really picked up the listings. And it was really nice to see that single family new construction or single family resale come back on the market. And it actually pushed us up, close to that 600 mark again. So that's really a good sign. So how did that affect our inverted market, you might ask? And it's kind of important that we look at this, because you notice here that at the bottom here, there's where our increase in listings came. And you would think, well, guys, if we had an increase in listings, does that mean that our buyers are finally finding what they need to find, and we're going to see kind of a slowdown or a drop in sale pendings? And you can see as of Sunday night, that's not the case. We're still seeing this rise in sale pendings. In fact, I think what this is probably going to do, it's kind of like adding gasoline to a fire. We're going to see more buyers buying this next week now that all of a sudden there's been more inventory. The buyers that currently have been out there, maybe in multiple offer situations, are going to be finding that now they found that home and maybe there weren't quite as many competing offers against them. So hopefully the increase in supply will meet the demand. And right now it doesn't look like we're going to see any shift in demand for some time. And I really honestly believe that we're going to be in the 4,000 closed or pending sale count here, if not this coming week, by the end of April. So we'll watch this again, as we always do every week. So the week in review, new listings added again. Here's where we talked about that 402 homes listed this past week. That's 128 more than the same time a year ago. We did have some price increases again this week. Again, new construction, a couple hundred of those. Price reductions happened a little bit, 108 of those. 356 offers were accepted in the last 7 days. So 402 came on the market, 356 went under contract. And we actually had fewer homes that went under contract than we brought on. So that kind of helps our inventory start to build just a little bit. So that's a good sign. Back on market is around 21%. That's the homes that go under contract, and for whatever reason, the buyer backs out, the financing falls through, the home inspection causes a problem or whatever, but the homes come back on the market. Right now we had 74 homes this last week returned to the market, and that's about 21% of all the homes that went into contract. So that's right about our threshold of normalcy. Around 20% is kind of, you don't want to see anything much more than that. So we're just a little bit higher than that. Open house counts are back up a little bit. Again, 425 total homes were held open this weekend. The majority of those were new construction with 331. But I tell you what, my neighborhood, I'm on the south side here, and I saw there was a couple of homes that held open this weekend. One on Saturday that we went through, and another one on Sunday that we went through, and just to get a feel for what open house traffic was like. And both open houses had many people through them. So if those homes aren't sold, I'll be totally surprised here by later today when we see the sale pending count come on. So the spotlight this week, the topic we talked about at the end of the show last week was, do certain areas of the metro become active at different times? And so I kind of thought about how I was going to come up with a way of quantifying that and seeing if that's the case. And so what I did was I looked back at 2020, the full year of 2020, and I looked at by month how many homes were added to the market each month and which month had the highest number of homes added to the market. So for example, in the month of July, that's the month of the year that our market saw the most homes come on the market at one time. And June was second. You see at the bottom there, I've got them ranked. Third was May. Fourth was March, which is not really a big surprise because that first push comes out around the 1st of March. But then it kind of drops. You would think that April would be a more active market month and overall, and it actually was the 8th most active month. The month of September, August, September, and October were all three higher listing counts than the month of April. And so if you kind of look at this little graph, or you see that little line chart I just put on there, we're going to apply that over how these numbers apply to different parts of the metro. So here's Altoona, and then again, you see that orange line there, that's the overall. So this kind of shows you how Altoona did last year versus overall listing counts. So if you were thinking about selling your home in Altoona or looking for a home in Altoona, you would say, gosh, what month did we have the most homes come on the market for me to choose from if I'm a buyer? Or if I'm a seller, which month am I going to have the most competition? And it's pretty steady all the way from March through August. It kind of beats out the overall competition there for those few months. But then in September, there's a little drop. Maybe that's back to school. Who knows? Probably is. And then October, November kind of is still pretty strong. And, the question was, I saw somebody post, they said, oh, my part of town or the part of town I kind of work in really doesn't start coming on the market until around April or May. And I thought, well, this is proving kind of that point. So here's Altoona. This is what Ankeny looks like. Again, the orange line is still the overall areas. That one doesn't really change other than it just kind of go up and down just the way the graphic shows. But the way it shows on there is really how all areas are. But Ankeny is pretty much consistent with all areas there. It has June, July, kind of the bigger months, and March is not quite as busy as some of the others. Bondurant, for example, July, August, September, those are really low listing months for that community. And for whatever reason, last year, that's the way it was. November, December, January, those are kind of normal where you tail off before the first of the year and right after the first of the year. So we'll look at a couple more. Here we got West Des Moines. You can see, again, kind of follows that same typical path of all areas, but then you get into Waukee, and Waukee really comes alive pretty heavily in March. In fact, March was the one month that Waukee really hit the highest there. Don't worry, there's 23 of these different communities plus all areas. And I've got all these graphics plus 3 or 4 more there. So 26 market graphics are all available at SimplyDesMoinesStats.com. That's my stat Facebook page. And when you go there, if you don't see them right on the front, go to the photo album. Go to photos, and you'll see the photo album for this week's show. And you'll see every single one of these areas and how the different parts of town break down for that. So, okay, with that, we're going to move on to the last segment here. This is talking about what we're going to look at for next week. Next week's show is going to be keeping an eye on pending sales. I mentioned earlier, I think we're going to come awful close to hitting that 4,000 pending sale count. Also, we'll talk and show some graphics that kind of give you an indication of when we have high pending sales, what does that mean for days on market and month of inventory? And we've got some pretty cool records that are being broken in that area every week here. So with that, that's the show. It's 15 minutes, a little over again. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you all again next week. My name's Les Sulgrove. Be sure and sign up, subscribe at my YouTube channel if you'd like, and like the show if you find it helpful, and ring the bell. Once you subscribe, you'll be notified of any new shows that hit. So thanks again for joining me. We'll see you all again next week.